welcome everybody to a brand new episode of the
Geek
Buddies.
Hey! And Shannon's in New Orleans.
That's right. Shannon's in New Orleans enjoying himself some beignets and God knows what else, some beads, and having some fun. So Mike Vogel and I are going to hold down the fort here on this particular episode of the Geek Buddies. Thank you all so much for joining us. Look, the world is crazy out there, and it's nice to have a place to come hang out and talk some geek shit and disappear for a little bit. So we can't thank you enough for joining us. And hey, we're getting something out of it as well, to be honest with you, in this crazy, maddening world. But Mike, how are you? How are things? How are you settling back into your home? You got some new paints on the walls. You're in a new location. What's the deal?
My home is a mess right now. Getting things done today has been a real struggle because one bedroom is filled with all of the belongings from like two rooms. Oof. The other room has nothing in it, so they can do the carpets tomorrow. And the rest of the apartment just has shit scattered everywhere. So I feel like I'm living like a hobo today in my West Hollywood apartment. And it's been wild. And I'm glad that we're doing this because after this, I'm pretty much done for the day. And then I'm going to lay down on my couch and play Mario Kart and stop thinking about anything.
Oh, nice. Smart stuff. Yeah, definitely. I hear you. I want to get to this as well. Yeah. And exactly. So yeah, we're gonna.
I wish I was having some beignets and beads with Shannon McClung. And the things that John Rocha knows about New Orleans.
That's about all.
Beignets and beads
and jazz. That's all I know. And then Super Bowls occasionally as well. But yes, but we miss Shannon. We'll see him back next week for sure. But we got so much to get into here, and of course. This is a show. We did our spoiler review of Fantastic Four earlier this week, but we didn't get into too many news items, but a lot of stuff dropped today. A lot of stuff dropped during the week. So we're going to run through as much of these news items as we can, get into some trailers as well, and then even jump into a conversation about the rankings of some of these superhero movies that was recently released here from Variety. A lot of dissension, but maybe some positive stuff as well. So it's going to be a fun conversation overall. All right. So shall we get into it, Michael? Let's
get into it. I am ready. I am ready for my Friday dose of geekery and tomfoolery. Let's do this thing.
Well, let's start with a scoop that's already was scooped a few months ago, for God's sakes, but it got reconfirmed today. Mark Ruffalo is coming back to reprise the Hulk, to play the Hulk in Spider-Man Brand New Day, something that I told you all about months ago in January on the Hot Mic, but it has been reconfirmed here from Hollywood Reporter Boris Kitt and Aaron Couch over there reconfirming it. But they've also said that Michael Mandow, that's right, Michael Mandow, Scorpion, is coming back to be a part of this. But the big news, of course, is Ruffalo. Now, I don't think anyone thought when I said the Hulk was coming back that it wouldn't be Ruffalo, but apparently it needed to be reconfirmed, and it is. Michael, I already see people now that it's got an official confirmation that he's back. A lot of people are looking at this stacked Spider-Man list, and we're hearing the same complaints that we've heard for the last three Spider-Man movies. Why won't they let him stand on his own? Why do they have to stuff this film full of so many characters? So what are your thoughts on this when you add the Punisher, now Scorpion, now the Hulk, all this stuff happening? What are your thoughts on the news, and what are your thoughts on people's issues on this?
Well, it's not the only news we got. I mean, we also got the like our first kind of glimpse at the new spider suit with the raised webbing on it. And based on some on-set photos, we sort of have some confirmation that Mr. Negative is in the movie with some inner demons, right?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to see the full costume tomorrow, apparently, but we got an 8-second tease of it today. So please, opine on all of it, Vogel.
So here's what I think. I don't have the complaint that other people have of why can't you let Spider-Man stand on his own. I think the Spider-Man movies thus far in the MCU, the Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, are probably three of the better movies in the Marvel. Like Spider-Man has the strongest trilogy of almost anyone. And I think Peter Parker's relationship with Tony Stark is great. Yeah. I think Peter Parker and Nick Fury, or the Scroll of Nick Fury, and Mysterio is great. Yeah. And I think that what they do with Doctor Strange is great. So I have no issue when the Marvel Universe decides to properly work as a universe and superheroes are in the movie in the way that they should be in the movie. I'm cool. And, you know, since you had scooped a while ago that the Hulk was going to be in the movie and that the Punisher is going to be in the, like, that makes sense to me. Yeah. Like, okay. I don't know how it all ties in with Mr. Negative and the Scorpion coming back and Spider-Man being on his own as a ground-based hero and yada, yada. But like, if the Hulk's in the movie, I'm assuming that the Hulk is on a rampage. So I'm assuming that smart Hulk, something has happened, and Bruce Banner is back to causing a rampage, and he needs to be stopped. I'm assuming the Punisher, for reasons, is trying to kill some people, and he intersects with Spider-Man, and you're going to get the very classic from the comic books. What happens when you team up the guy who wants to kill everybody with the guy who doesn't want to kill everybody? So all of those things, like Spider-Man fighting the Hulk, has a ton of precedent in the comics. Spider-Man and the Punisher teaming up has a ton of precedent in the comics. People are genuinely excited about Mr. Negative being a villain in Spider-Man. So, like, guys, what are you complaining about?
Well,
what are you complaining about?
Just to play the devil's advocate on the other side, I think people are saying they want to enjoy Tom Holland, which might arguably the last time we see him as Spider-Man in a film. Like they said, he signed for 3 more movies. They didn't necessarily imply a trilogy. So
yeah, no, usually when they, in the past, at least when Marvel has signed for movies, whatever movie you show up in counts. So if that's a Doomsday, if it's Doomsday, Secret Wars, Brand New Day, or if it's Brand New Day, Secret Wars, and one other movie. Look, you want to enjoy Tom Holland? Are you telling me you haven't? Well, did you not enjoy him in his other 3 movies? I think he's pretty much, I mean, I know that this is a hotly debated topic, and all respect to Toby and Andrew. He's my favorite Peter Parker that we've gotten on the big screen. I think he's great. And
a lot of people agree with you. Yeah, go ahead.
And I think that he was great in a bunch of movies that had other Marvel heroes in them.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it's like one of those things, like, we complain when we see a Marvel movie. Like, I remember, you can say Iron Man 2, you can say Thor, The Dark World, whatever. Whenever we have a superhero movie in the Marvel universe where the hero is by himself and none of the other heroes show up, we all go, well, if it was really the Marvel universe, why wouldn't he have gone to Steve Rogers? Or like, where was Thor during all of this? And we love to poke holes in the, if this was really the Marvel universe, wouldn't there be this? And then when we get the movie that acts like a proper Marvel universe, we go, well, why can't Spider-Man be by himself? Like, guys, can we not complain about every single thing?
Well, I mean, I think people have a right to have an opinion that they want to have more Tom Holland, as you said. And listen, let me take your logic and go, well, people enjoy him so much, they want more of him. They want him to be much more central to the movies. They want it to be about him in a singular story, more grounded. And I kind of get that. Now, listen, as a guy who loves team-ups, I got no issues with the Hulk and Punisher and Mr. Negative and Scorpion, because it seems like the Sinister Six will be involved in some form. I have no problem with any of this stuff. This looks exciting. I'm very much in. But I do get the people who are like, well, I'd like just a simple story so I can really enjoy even more of Tom Holland in the Spider-Man situation. And considering the fact that no one knows who he is now, what is his life going to be like navigating all of that? So I suppose if they serve both masters, we'll be happy by the end of the day. And as you said earlier, they seem to have done that effectively over those 3 films.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Spider-Man trilogy is, as far as the trilogies that the MCU has going for it, is one of the better ones. I am making the assumption, you just said the team up and you said Hulk, Punisher, Spider-Man. I am making the assumption that he's not teaming up with the Hulk and the Punisher. Like, I'm assuming that the Hulk is the issue.
Yes.
And I could be wrong about that, but I don't think I am. I'm pretty sure that whatever goes down, you're going to see Frank Castle and Spider-Man dealing with a very, very angry Hulk, and we don't like him when he's angry.
Savage.
But the other thing I'll say about the seeing more Tom Holland, or him getting, like, there was a time. I mean, this was a pretty common complaint with the Batman movies for a while that I think was valid, which is Batman as a character often got overshadowed by his bad guys.
Right.
The Joker, Penguin, Catwoman. Like, Batman sometimes seemed like the least interesting character in his movies.
Right.
I think the difference with the Spider-Man movies is every character who has been in those movies has been in service to Peter Parker as the main character. It was a Spider-Man movie, but Iron Man got all the action. Like, Iron Man was mentoring Peter or ignoring Peter, which was Peter's issue in Homecoming. And then Mysterio was our bad guy, and Nick Fury, or the Scroll of Nick Fury, was trying to get Peter to focus on superheroing when he was dealing with PTSD from from Endgame.
Right.
And then Doctor Strange, he went to Doctor Strange because he wanted to do something, and Doctor Strange opened the multiverse, and then you had 3 Peter Parkers dealing with shit. And even with 3 Peter Parkers, I still think Tom Holland's story was the forefront. So you are correct. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. And if you are upset about another Marvel team up, I feel you. John is right. You are entitled. I just don't agree with you.
You are respected. You are beloved.
You are respected. You are loved. You are liked.
And liked. But let's you tease this. So go into this more. What did you think of this? I'm going to turn the sound down. This was the tease for the Spider-Man costume. I'm going to go slow through it so we don't get a strike or anything. But anything about this that you can like extrapolate from as an avid comic book guy, but also as a guy who's dealt with the Spider-Man animation with your work show running Spectacular Spider-Man. Anything about this costume that like gets you excited? Anything about that? I mean, there's not much shown here, but is there anything you can take from this that you can get excited about or maybe guess we might be getting tomorrow?
Well, the big thing that everyone's talking about is raised webbing.
Yes,
like Tobey Maguire. Like the raised webbing is a big thing. What I do take away from it, and I think it is hilarious, is that as a gay man, I have a lot of friends who are very into fashion. I have some friends that have worked in fashion. And when they start talking to me about the latest fashion, you know, oh, well, did you watch Fashion Week? Did you see this? Like culottes are in, or, you know, one sleeve short and one sleeve long is the new thing. And I'm like, I don't care. When a new superhero costume comes out, geeks all of a sudden turn into like the most fashion forward, like, wait, does Superman have a collar? Does Superman not have a collar? What are we doing? Where's the S? How big is the S? How small is the S? Is the underwear on the outside? What are we doing? And with Spider-Man, it's like, is it raised webbing? Yes, it is raised webbing. We are so back. And I just find it very funny that we get so excited about these things. But yeah, you know, I think to your point about a lot of people's complaints about the way Peter Parker's story has unfolded on the big screen, aside from his homemade costume at the beginning of Civil War, he's basically been handed some very high-tech costumes.
100%. Yeah.
And based on the end of No Way Home, the promise of seeing a hand-sewn Peter Parker made this by himself costume, I think does have people. Like, I don't necessarily get excited about the specifics of this is based from this era or this is this era. Like I'm always interested to see what it is, but from a story standpoint, the fact that this is a suit that Peter just made himself and he doesn't have high-tech gadgets from Iron Man and he doesn't have, you know, a bunch of different costumes that can do different things. Like this is just his own thing. I think that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, we've eaten really well on these Spider-Man costumes. My favorite is still the Iron Spider costume. And so they haven't missed yet. I think in the general consensus is they haven't missed. So there's a real excitement. The fact that they're rolling out a special look at his costume tells me that the fans have very much invested in Spider-Man's costumes since he's been a part of the Marvel Universe. So we'll see what the full thing is tomorrow. And maybe I'll do a quick video on it when it finally drops. All right, anything more to say this? Shall we move on to the next story?
Flip.
All right, let's move on. Let's get to this one. This is really exciting. John Krasinski is coming back here, Michael, to do A Quiet Place Part 3. You know, I'm going to assume that both of us have liked the first 2 movies. I don't know if we've ever had a conversation about it, but I certainly have enjoyed these first 2 movies. And so to hear that Krasinski will be back to write and direct a 3rd installment in The Quiet Place, well, actually the 4th if you include the Lupita Nyong'o movie, but this will be written and directed by him. There is no cast set just yet. But remember, he was a massive part of this, along with Emily Blunt and Millicent Simmons and Noah Jupe. So what are your thoughts on this? Are you excited that Krasinski's coming back to do this? You know, another actor turned director, kind of in the Ben Affleck mode, who's been really successful making the change. Do you have a little bit of excitement for this?
Yeah, I think Quiet Place is a great and fun franchise. Like, you know, I think with A Quiet Place Day 1, there was a couple things that were planted in there and seeing what the aliens were doing and the nesting area and everything. Like there was a couple things that felt like we were building to more. Like in the first Quiet Place movie, it was just a straight up, like from the people's perspective, like aliens came down. We don't know what the fuck is going on. We have to be quiet.
Right.
And Quiet Place 2, you got a little bit more. And then Day 1, you got a little bit more. So they clearly have a bigger story that they are thinking of that's going to be the way they're going to continue to expand the franchise. And that always interests me. But with Quiet Place in particular, what they've really locked in on, and they do really, really well with it, is it's such a simple idea that is super fun to watch in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Like A Quiet Place is one of those movies that you kind of like, you want to go see that in a theater full of people. And it's one of the few times that everyone is like dead silent for like almost the entire movie. Like I remember the first time that we saw the first Quiet Place in theaters, I was like afraid to chew my popcorn. Like I was just like, and the thrill of the people on screen needing to be so quiet, and the second that a noise happens, like it's just a really fun concept, and it's really worked well. I think I was reading that the movies altogether have made like 900 million, which when we're talking about Supermans and Fantastic Fours, that is what one movie you hope makes. But when it's a franchise that is not a super, super expensive franchise to make, that's actually really, really good. So I think it's like, it's the little franchise that could, and I'm excited for more.
Actually, I'm in your camp as well. This one, look the announcement on Hollywood Reporter says it'll be a summer release date of July 9th, 2027. And that tells me that they have a lot of confidence in this franchise and in this particular script, possibly, or the idea, the concept of the script, possibly, because July 9th, man, that's we're in July now, and we saw the movies that came out in July this year. So that tells me
this July was a very this was peak summer movies this July.
It was. So Paramount seems to have a lot of confidence in this franchise. They've been playing around with a third installment since 2022. So the fact that they're finally getting to this thing, I think, is really exciting. And and remember, Scott Beck and Brian Woods did the original script. So it's going to be interesting that Krasinski's taken the writing on his own. So I wonder what he's going to come up with. And of course, he's been heavily involved in this franchise since the beginning. So is this a little bit of me wanting to tell a particular story now and not needing to have other people write the script? I want to make it even more personal, which I think is a nice touch that John brought to the film. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do with this. And 2027 is not that far away anymore, man. It's only 2 years away. And Krasinski teased it on his social media with that Roman numeral 3 and the date of 7/9/27. So we will see what happens next with that. All right, let's move on to another story. A bunch of other stories here, Michael.
Whew, I love it. I'm keep going. Lay it on me.
The roller coaster's still going. How about this story? Stephen Knight has been tapped to write the new James Bond movie. Stephen Knight of Peaky Blinders fame, of Taboo fame, for those of you who go that far back, that Tom Hardy series, but also recently of the Ray movie, but removed himself from the Ray movie here. So he has now been tapped to write the script for James Bond, with, of course, Denis Villeneuve directing this, and David Heyman and Amy Pascal producing. So your thoughts on Stephen Knight boarding the project here and writing the script?
Seems right. Seems right. Like Peaky Blinder. Like, I mean, you look at the movies, you look at the TV shows he's done, like, you're like, yeah, this seems like the right vibe.
Yeah.
And teaming him up with Denis Villeneuve seems like a really great creative team.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, again, with everything that's happened with Bond and going to Amazon and all this stuff, like, there's a lot of concern about what are they going to do with it, and are they going to turn it into just like a massive IP and just churn stuff out. But like this casting of the director and the writer, you can't really argue with the quality of either of them. It doesn't feel like something that you are just trying to shove out there as quickly as you can. For Stephen Knight, after going through the ringer at Lucasfilm, tackling Bond might be a walk in the park. I mean, everybody who's worked on a Star Wars film comes out with like a faraway look in their eyes saying, I don't know if I'm ever going to write again. Like, they're so beaten up about it. So like, maybe this will be easier.
Well, I think it shows that he has no fear walking into a franchise that has a very strong fan base and enormous expectations. So you admire the guts of him being able to do that kind of stuff. And he's still consistent. Oh, so go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, I can't remember the writing team, but like it's been the same writers for the Bond movies for like.
Yes. Neil Purvis and Robert Wade. Yes.
Yeah. Like they've written every Bond movie since back in all the Daniel Craigs, like even a little bit before. Like
enough. They started in 99 with The World Is Not Enough.
Yeah. So like we've had, for as much as like we've jumped into the Daniel Craig era, and we've had and Daniel Craig had a whole variety of different movies, like we've had the same team writing all those. So the concept of a whole new fresh take on Bond, both visually and from the writing side, I think it's going to be really interesting. I mean, I as a kid, I kind of grew up with Roger Moore. As I got older, I learned that Indiana Jones's dad used to be James Bond.
Yeah.
And then I saw some of those, but and then I kind of went into the why am I blanking? Pierce Brosnan. I went on the Pierce Brosnan area, right. And then that jump from Pierce Brosnan to Daniel Craig was such a drastic change in tone for Bond, and that's why Casino Royale is one of my favorites. Like, I just really think it really, really worked, and it felt new, and it felt fresh, and it felt different. And then, the Daniel Craig movies are up and down for me, but I think the excitement of this team coming in and giving us a whole new take on Bond sounds really cool.
Yeah, and Steven's still consistently working, which I think is important, and churning out really good content and varied content. Like 1,000 Blows got received really well. It's on Hulu. You guys should watch it. A great period piece series with Stephen Graham, the guy from Adolescence, playing a boxer who's threatened by a young boxer of color and what that's like in society in London at that time. And then you've got The Veil, which is a Holocaust show that was on, I think, the History Channel that was original entertainment. And he's also got Rogue Heroes, This Town. He wrote Eastern Promises, which is quietly one of my favorite Viggo Mortensen movies with Naomi Watts. So he's got an ability to go into different genres, but he always brings a real complex darkness to the stuff he writes. And so I think this is going to be really interesting. And this tells me that this is the angle they're going. They know people love the Daniel Craig approach that they had recently, and they still want to go in that vein. So I'm so curious now who is going to be the Bond for Denis Villeneuve and Stephen Knight, because I don't think they're going to go with the Pierce Brosnan kind of Bond or the more suave Sean Connery. I think they're still going to keep it a little more rough and tumble. So now I'm really curious to see. And a name I heard the other day, having recently just finished The Bear, and I want to know what you think about it, is the dude who played the English guy from Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and in The Bear there, who comes in as the Stage. What do you think about that guy as a possibility? His name is escaping me right now, but Adam, is it Nova? Is that what he played there? Adam Nova? What was his name in Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Adam Warlock?
Adam Warlock, yes. What do you think about that guy as a possibility?
Maybe.
Wow. You're not feeling that, huh?
I just want something different for Bond.
Okay.
I don't know what I want, but I mean, like, honestly, Daniel Craig, like, I remember going to see Layer Cake when it came out in theaters.
Right.
Not because I particularly wanted to see Layer Cake, but like the guy who was in Layer Cake was going to be the new James Bond, and I went to go check it out. And like, I was like, that's again, having been like Roger Moore and Pierce Brosnan, I was like, that's going to be the new Bond. Right. And I think that, as we typically do when we're casting for superhero roles, or, who's going to play this, we tend to go to the choice that we think feels the most like the thing that we want. Yeah. And sometimes when you go against that, you get something more interesting.
Yeah. Well, the name I was thinking of, Will Poulter. Sorry, it didn't come to me quickly, but yeah, that's the guy I'm looking at.
And look, Will Poulter's great. I think he was great on The Bear. I think he was funny in Guardians Volume 3. Yeah. He was funny in Death of a Unicorn. And what was the Michael Keaton pharmaceutical show?
Oh, yes. Dope Sick.
He was great in Dope Sick. Like, he's a great actor. Right. So it's not like I don't like Will Poulter. This isn't the Shannon McClung. I don't like his delivery. Wow. I think he's a really good actor, but like him playing James Bond, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Oh, really?
You're definitely going for that Daniel Craig kind of thing. Like, I want something where they cast Bond and I go, really? Where people are going to get pissed and everyone's going to argue about it, but then it comes out and you're like, all right, I get it. Helen Mirren. Make Helen Mirren James Bond.
Helen Mirren James Bond. Yikes. I can see that. She's a badass. Why not? Poor Shannon, catching strays even in New Orleans. Well, we'll see what happens with James Bond. But I think I've said this before. They're moving fast. The fact that they locked down 2 producers that quickly with Heyman and Pascal, and then locked down Denis Villeneuve, and now they got Stephen Knight. This is happening really fast for a franchise like this. And a lot of people think they're going to wait till after Denis is done with Doom Part 3. And maybe you all are right. But I think we're going to get a Bond cast sooner rather than later. I just have a weird feeling about that. But again, could be wrong, but we'll see. All right, 3 more stories real quick, Michael. So let's see. What are your thoughts on this? Social Network 2, there's rumors that, speaking of The Bear, Jeremy Allen White will be playing. I think Jeff Horowitz is the name of the writer there of the Facebook Files that the film's going to be based on. Then you've got Mikey Madison in talks to possibly play Francis Haugen, who is the whistleblower of Facebook. And the big one, Jeremy Strong, supposedly replacing Jesse Eisenberg to play an older Mark Zuckerberg in this version of writer-director Aaron Sorkin's The Social Network Part 2. What are your thoughts? Do you like this? Does this seem weird, or do you like this casting possibility?
The casting all seems fine. If Aaron Sorkin wasn't writing this, I would have very little interest in A Social Network 2.
And directing it, by the way. Writing and directing it.
I think Social Network is a super interesting movie. And I was like, that's a good movie, but it was never a movie that, like, I don't go on a Friday night, I'm going to rewatch The Social Network. So it's not something that I felt needed a sequel, but I do like Aaron Sorkin and what he has to say often. So look, that's a great cast.
Yeah.
Like if you put those three up and said they're going to be in the next Marvel movie, they're going to be in the next DC movie, this is the cast of the next Star Wars movie, I'd be like, well, you got some heavy hitters there. That's a good cast. So yeah, like it's a good cast. The replacing of Jesse Eisenberg is interesting.
Yeah.
Like that's a tough. He was very singularly correct for that role.
He was our Mark Zuckerberg before we even knew who the hell Mark Zuckerberg was. Like, like put a face to the name. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And Strong brings a very different vibe.
Yeah, a different energy for sure. I don't disagree with you there. So we'll see if those are we'll see if that's the cast. But I'm going to catch up on the Facebook files and read that Wall Street Journal series from Jeff Horowitz because it looks like it's pretty awesome. So I can't wait to see it. But we'll see if Sorkin does a good job because it ain't him. It ain't Fincher directing. So we'll see what he does with that.
That's going to be that's the wild card.
Yeah, Fincher directing Tarantino, Sorkin directing his own thing. I don't know what's happening. Up and down. The black is white. Let's move on to this. What are your thoughts on this, Michael? Celine Song of the Materialists has written a sequel to My Best Friend's Wedding. She's probably not going to direct it, but in news that I would have never put two and two together on, Celine Song has written a sequel to My Best Friend's Wedding. Dermot Mulroney saying that they have been contacted by legal about their availability and schedules. What do we need a sequel? And are you shocked that Celine Song is the one writing it?
Here's how you know that I am the gay geek buddy.
Go ahead.
Here's how you know. No interest in a Social Network sequel, but you tell me you're making My Best Friend's Wedding 2, all in. I have no idea what the fuck that movie is. I don't know. I don't care. You can give it to me. I am absolutely going. Opening night, My Best Friend's Wedding 2. Like, I love that movie so much.
Yeah.
Like, that's a great movie. I rewatched it recently. I was going through I was hanging out with this guy who had not seen said he loved Julia Roberts. And I was like, oh yeah, Pretty Woman. And he's like, haven't seen it. And I was like, My Best Friend's Wedding. He's like, nope. And I'm like, Notting Hill. He's like, not that one either. I'm like, well then why the fuck do you love Julia Roberts? So I went through a Julia Roberts phase and My Best Friend's Wedding really holds up. It's a fun movie. Now that being said, and all of my initial gay excitement about a sequel happening.
Yeah.
Weird choice for someone to write a sequel. And what the hell is that movie about? Is it Dermot Mulroney and Cameron Diaz got a divorce and now Julia Roberts has her shot with him? But or is Julia Roberts about to get married and Dermot Mulroney and Cameron Diaz have gotten a divorce and now the shoe's on the other foot? I have no idea what on the earth a sequel for this would be, but I'm in.
You're totally in. Well, let's go from sequel to prequel. What are your thoughts on this? Lee Isaac Chung is tapped to direct the prequel film for Ocean's 11. This will be focusing on Danny Ocean's parents, who were also con men, so to speak, or thieves. And it's still supposedly starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, but Lee Isaac Chung is stepping in to direct here, taking the place of Jay Roach. Do you like this as a interesting change? Having done Minari, having done Twisters, are you excited about this at all?
It makes sense after Minari to Twisters was the head scratcher for me.
Hell of a jump. Yes.
Going from Minari to Twisters was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is an interesting concept to me.
Okay.
But like, honestly, you know, I love Ocean's 11. I think it's great. I
Yes.
think the Ocean's movies are the law of diminishing returns, except I'm a big fan of Ocean's 8.
Oh, you are?
Like
Yes. Yeah.
like you put again, I'm the gay geek buddy. And so like, you know, doing Danny Ocean's sister and her crew, I'm like, that sounds dumb. But I'm like, nope, you know what? That's actually great. So this concept of like the Ocean family, as kind of dumb as it seems on the surface,
Yeah.
I kind of prefer that than doing like another Ocean's movie with the entire cast and getting them all back, or doing like a reboot of the Ocean's movie with a younger cast. Like, this is more interesting, and yeah, that's an interesting choice for director. So I mean, I like it more than Jay Roach, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, I think he's more of a director of the moment, and I think
Yeah.
it might be fun to see what his take on it is. And considering, as you said, making the jump from Minari to Twisters, and arguably, even though I didn't like the movie, arguably it had a lot of success. So you can't argue with the choice and see what he
I
can do.
think
with it.
Twisters was a blast. I think it was an absolute blast.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. That's all I got.
Difference of opinion on yet another movie for sure. But we'll see. We'll see if this one even happens. And we'll see if Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling stay attached to this, because I have a feeling like Ryan's name maybe not necessarily in the mix here. So we will see if he changes out on this and if Margot stays with it. Another story we should get to here is one you wanted to talk about, Mike. K-pop Demon Hunters. What do you want to say about this? This is happening. This is apparently they're understanding that they've got a little bit of a, what do you call it? A little bit of a franchise situation going on here. And this is coming to us from The Wrap that Sony Pictures Animation's K-pop made Netflix history, became the first Netflix original film to reach a new viewing peak in its 6th week. Massive 26.3 million views, topping the previous week and the week before that. In its 6th week, it became the most popular animated film of all time. And now they're looking to expand this franchise to do more versions of this. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think this is great.
Yeah.
I was in Europe the weekend that K-pop Demon Hunters came out, and I watched it on a train on the way to the south of France, and I lost my shit and then proceeded to text everybody that I could and say, oh my God, you got to watch K-pop Demon Hunters. Right. And have just sort of ridden the wave that everyone has been riding as they've been watching the movie, becoming obsessed with the movie, watching the songs from both groups from the movie go up the Billboard chart and become more and more popular. And I love it when animation hits big. As a huge animation fan, it makes me really happy. And I love it when a movie that I think is a good movie hits big. And I think K-pop Demon Hunters is a really, really good movie. What's interesting is I was actually talking to a friend of mine at Netflix like earlier this month. And we were actually talking about Stranger Things, because I was talking about how excited I was about season 5 and how I had just done a rewatch of seasons 1 to 4. And this person told me that like there was a big concern within Netflix, because they knew that this is the end for Stranger Things. Like, we're going to get the whole final finale, and that they were really kind of in that we need our next Stranger Things. What's our new Stranger Things? Because Stranger Things is an absolute monster. Like, Squid Games was huge, but it ended. You know, Black Mirror was big for a while, but it doesn't quite have the excitement that it had. Adolescence was really huge for them, but that was more of a critical awards thing. It was it's not like you're going to do Adolescence seasons 2, 3, and 4. Like Stranger Things was that thing that you could just keep churning out, and people were showing up for it. And so with that ending, it was like, well, what's our next Stranger Things? And we were kind of laughing that when studios or networks do that, what is our next Seinfeld? What is our next Friends? What is our next Stranger Things? They always look for a version of the same thing. Like, well, we need a supernatural kids coming together, whatever. And I love that in the midst of me having this conversation, K-pop Demon Hunters came out and just blindsided Netflix and said, hey, bitch, it's us. Like, I love that they're referring to it as Netflix's Frozen. And that we're talking, I mean, they're talking about the whole gamut, like 2 animated sequels, potential live action adaptation, potential stage show, maybe do some animated shorts that you can release to bridge the gap between how long it's going to take to get the second movie out. Like, they are going full in. When the movie came out, there was like a limited little bit of merchandise for K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix.
Yeah.
And they were completely caught unawares. So we're about to see a giant influx of like K-pop Demon Hunters merchandise, K-pop Demon Hunters clothing. Like it's just one of those things that it's a legitimate phenomenon.
Yeah.
And I think it's, again, when animation hits big, whether it be this, whether it be Arcane, whether it be, Inside Out 2, like when animation really, really does big business, it's great because everybody in the industry goes, oh shit, maybe we should be doing more animation, which I have a lot of friends who work in animation that aren't working right now. I'm fortunately one of the people that does work, but I'm happy to work more. And just like the more animation that we have, I mean, we said it before, like we talk about all these big franchises that come out and we talk about the movies that really cross $1 billion. What are the movies that really like lock down studios to be successful?
Yeah.
And when you look at the past couple of years, one of the things that's more consistent than most other things, even superhero movies, is animated movies. Like whether it be Illumination, Pixar, DreamWorks, or the live action adaptations of animated movies that are so beloved that people are going to come out, like Lilo and Stitch, like How to Train Your Dragon. So I think we're going to be seeing a whole lot of K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix in the next couple of years. And I, for one, am very excited. In fact, my sister just texted me this morning and she was like, my niece, Jordan, she was like, Jordan won't shut the fuck up about K-pop Demon Hunters. What is this? And I was like, oh, Uncle Mikey can talk all about it. We are good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been resisting this one because everyone has said.
Well, of course you have, because it's animated.
No, it's because everyone's. I haven't seen Happy Gilmore 2 either. People have been
saying.
Okay,
I'm resisting that one. That's fair.
There you go. But like people have been talking about it so much, so I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm not. I don't like to be a tourist on some stuff, and I'm like, K-pop. I don't really know that much. Will I get it? Even though Wendy and I used to host a show, Wendy Lee, who used to show where we talked. She tried to school me on K-pop, and it wasn't always something I could get into. So I wasn't sure, but then everyone, like you said, people have texted me and been like, you got to watch this movie and do a reaction to it. So this may be the weekend where I finally do that. Maybe on Sunday.
I've done this 3 different times.
Okay.
And it's worked every time. You just have to watch the first 10 minutes. You watch the first 10 minutes of K-pop Demon Hunters. Okay. And if you are out after that, go with God. But like every single person that I have shown it to, the opening 10 minutes, just forget K-pop, forget this, forget that it's Netflix is Frozen. When a movie opens and in a very short amount of time gives you total backstory, character development on your main 3 characters, awesome action sequence set to a kick-ass K-pop song, like it establishes the world, establishes the character, and does it with like just such flair, like with a banger song. Like it's just amazing. So if you have not watched K-pop Demon Hunters, much like John, you should do so this weekend and get ready because it is Netflix's Frozen.
That's true. That's true. So we'll see what happens. All right, one last story. I know we got so many stories here in the first block, Mike, but one last story here quickly. James Gunn on social media starting drama all over again, brother man. What are your thoughts on this? He was asked that now the Superman is out and the press tour is finished. Do you have any time to relax? He said, Peacemaker press and sequel writing. What are you up to? And then when someone else said, when are you going to tease the sequel? James Gunn said, I just did. Well, everybody started freaking out thinking that maybe he'd confirmed Superman 2. And then he had to respond to someone else and to say, no, yes, sorry, that's the same movie. Superman has a major role. It's not Superman 2. So I don't know. It seems like this is a man who knows what he's doing. He knew how to phrase certain things to get interest and attraction, and then went off on paragraphs about toxicity and fandom. Never mind that he posted some pretty toxic tweets a few years ago. But what are your thoughts on this? With James Gunn yet again playing around with the fans, man.
I don't think that he was like, listen, in observing James Gunn's social media habits, I don't think he knew what he was doing or was trying to rile anything up. I think the man just can't stop responding to people on social media. And the more that he talks about stuff, the more that I feel like we're getting a Justice Gang movie or a Mr. Terrific movie or a Guy Gardner movie. Like, I don't think that he's going to bring Batman in and do World's Finest. I just think that the world that has is here.
Yeah.
And we barely got Maxwell Lord. Simon Stagg's company, Stagg Enterprises, is there. Rex Mason Metamorpho is married to Simon Stagg's. Like, there's enough going on here that he could say he's doing a Metamorpho movie, a Mr. Terrific movie, a Guy Gardner movie, a Justice Gang movie, and any of those movies, given what we know about these characters, Superman would be pretty big. That's true. Again, what I really hope, because it comes up constantly on social media, and I don't disagree with it. I don't particularly love that Hawk Girl killed a man in a movie where we make a big deal out of killing is wrong. And I think that man probably maybe deserved to die, but that's not a superhero's call. So I do kind of like, I would be thrilled if we jumped into a movie that kind of picked up in Metropolis with the Justice Gang being in hot water because of what Hawk Girl did. And Superman's a big part of that. Oh, is Superman going to be a part of the gang? Well, maybe he won't. Maybe he will. So I think that James Gunn is making a sequel to the story that he told. He's just being very clear that it's not, strictly speaking, Superman 2.
Yeah. And I think that's where he's been going back and forth on this stuff and got caught again. Again, like you said, I just wish he'd stop responding to people, because he did not need to answer the question. He did not. And you'd think by now he'd learn, answer the question as thoroughly as possible. So there's no room for people to, extrapolate something or extrapolate an incorrect intention.
Listen, we've all done it. We've all done it. You're driving your car and you're checking your tweets when you shouldn't be, because you shouldn't text and drive.
James don't drive anymore.
Or you're waiting for the movie to start, or you're on your way to a Grindr hookup, or whatever, wherever you're doing. And you're just responding really quick, and you're going through and you're like, yep, no, and then you realize that you said something and you're like, shit. My advice would be, if you're running an entire cinematic universe, don't tweet at those times.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. All right, one last thing here, Michael. Are you excited about this? A New Hope is coming back into theaters next year. Star Wars: A New Hope in 2027, to honor the 50th anniversary. It will be on April 30th, 2027. A New Hope originally hit theaters on May 25th of 1977. Oh, and not to be outdone, also, the original Batman '89 movie is coming back out into theaters as well. Tim Burton's Batman. That is coming. All three of the Batman movie, actually. Batman and Batman Returns are getting the premium treatment. The two movies there, returning to theaters for one-night engagement on August 25th, later on this year. So New Hope in 2027. These two Batman movies getting the high-end treatment, coming out on the 25th. What's old is new again, Michael. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, so to clarify, so the Batman movies are like a one-night only engagement, but is Star Wars like doing like a full? They're doing like a full re-release, like they did with Phantom Menace. And okay, I'm excited for all of them. I don't think that I will see Batman and Batman Returns, because in LA those one-night engagements sell out in about 30 seconds, and I'm like, I don't have the time. But I would enjoy seeing them on the big screen. But mostly Star Wars. Like, I remember in college, we knew the prequels were coming out, but they did the full re-release of the special editions to kind of promote the special editions. And we got to go see Star Wars and Empire and Return of the Jedi. And look, I love those movies. I've said this before, Star Wars is my team. Even when I don't think my team is doing well, I still love my team. And being able to sit in a movie theater and watch the 1977 A New Hope on the big screen, it's cool. Like, it's you even though you've watched it 1,000 times on your TV and you could probably quote the entire movie, and even if you think that Star Wars is in the toilet and Kathleen Kennedy doesn't know what she's doing, and you're not excited for Starfighter and you're not excited for Mando and Grogu, you can still go sit in the theater and watch Star Wars and go, man, that's pretty fucking cool.
It's a great way to pass it on too. If you were going to introduce a new generation, like your kids, to Star Wars, them see it for the first time in the theater in this like kind of cleaned up, really well delivered version of it, I think is a great way to hook them into Star Wars for the first time.
The thing, though, that I found the most interesting in the article that was talking about it was George Lucas talking about how nobody really knows what's in his head.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
every time George Lucas says something, like George Lucas doesn't talk like James Gunn does, but when George Lucas does talk and say something, Star Wars fans have shit to chew on and argue about for like the next 10 years. And him saying, yeah, you know, nobody really knew what I was going to do with Star Wars, and they didn't quite get it right after I sold it, and they did their thing. Like, people don't really understand the Force. I understand the Force. I know what the Force was going to be, but they don't really get it. They haven't done it right. But what are you going to do? You let something go, you let something go.
Yeah.
And that's just George Lucas talking. But when he says they don't have the Force right, I know what the Force is. You have half of the Star Wars fandom freaking out about how we need to know what George Lucas's version of the Force is. So
yeah,
I do like it. I appreciate it when George Lucas does it because he does it sparingly, but it is equally as effective and potentially devastating to the fandom.
I have to say, I read it a little bit in the Trump voice. Nobody knows what the Force is. Nobody understood the Force. And they shouted the other ones after I had a lot of great original ideas, but they got lost because it wasn't me doing it. So I just kind of, when I was reading it, it sounded to me a little bit like that. But yeah, I hear you, man. I mean, these guys don't care. I mean, like in terms of they don't take responsibility for the fandom going crazy about this kind of stuff. They're just going to say what they're going to say, and if the fans go crazy, so be it. And he's George Lucas. What does he care, right? So, but I agree with you. This is the kind of stuff that sparks wars and causes
Sparks wars. Star Wars will get burned to the ground because everybody wants to know what George Lucas thinks they did wrong with the Force.
Exactly. They want to pin him down, and he'll never tell you. He'll never tell you. All right, well, there you go. That's the opening block of stories here that we've spent.
Jesus Christ.
I know. There was so much to get into. But that we got to all the big stories, I think. Let's move on to some trailers here, Michael. Now, let's hit this. What do you think of Avatar Fire and Ash? This dropped, I know this feels like a lifetime ago, but it dropped on Monday, only 5 days ago. Your thoughts on what we got here, the water tribe, the wind tribe and the fire tribe being highlighted here in the back and forth, seeing more with the family, seeing Neytiri and her anger kind of consuming her, Jake trying to get her out of that place. We see what's going on with Quint, Michael coming back, all these people coming back to be a part of this thing. And Spider as well, coming back as the human face and all of this. What are your thoughts on the trailer?
I know people have their opinions about the Avatar franchise. I fucking love it. I'm all in. This trailer came out. I think this trailer might have been one of the highlights of my viewing of Fantastic Four. Like, I loved it so much. And here's why I loved it. Look, James Cameron cherry-picked a bunch of things. Is the Avatar series Dances with Wolves with Smurfs with a little bit of Fern Gully thrown in, and then a healthy portion of Avatar The Last Airbender, because we had the Earth, the nature tribe, and then the water tribe, and we're getting the fire tribe? Sure. But like, in a world where we get so upset, and you can read this like Twitter, like geek Twitter, film Twitter all the time, like, oh, these movies are shot so boring, these colors are so desaturated, like there's no interesting filmmaking being done anymore. You cannot deny that James Cameron gets to do whatever the fuck he wants
100%.
and continues with each one of these movies to push the boundaries of what you can do with visual effects, with motion capture, with all these different things. And the movies make billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So he gets to keep doing it. And as someone who likes the movies, seeing that a lot of the emotional stuff that was set up in Way of Water, Neytiri almost killing Spider because Quaritch, who is his Na'vi dad, killed one of her kids.
Right.
And her getting to this movie and realizing that she hasn't let that go, and that Jake is still having issues with his son, and they're having this hard time. Like all of these things that if you care about the world. Now, most people are like, man, I saw that Avatar movie and I walked out and I couldn't tell you what the fuck happened. I don't remember any of it. But like all of that going on, their daughter that is Sigourney Weaver, that is clearly like Awa sort of reincarnated Grace from the first movie into their daughter, having these connections, and then that evil fire Na'vi being like, your God isn't here. Like, I was sold on all of this. And I think that these movies are like experiences. I think that they are cinematic experiences that you go and you're like, you can hate the movies and you can think that his scripts are too on the nose and generic and silly, and that's totally valid.
Yeah.
But when you sit in that theater, you are guaranteed to see something like you haven't seen on screen before. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Mike. You're transported. As much as I and listen, there's a cynical side of me.
I know you don't like the movies as much as I do. That's fine.
That's fair, but I mean, you treat them like other people. Like you treat Mission Impossible like other people treat these movies. Like when they walk out, they're like, "I just had a great experience, but I can't tell you what is what." But I will say this: I've always hung my hat on these movies on the visual spectacle that they are, and I think you nailed it. They're an experience. When you go and then you watch it, they're an experience. Watching this trailer earlier this week was an experience. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous what they look. And I think the story has gotten better. I like the second movie. It was a little bit better for me story-wise. And I hope the third one does that as well and keeps fleshing out this world in successful ways. Because you're right, Cameron clearly understands what people want. And nobody thought this Avatar film was going to like do what it did, over $2 billion. Like people were just like shocked by all that. But he knows how to speak to a lot of film goers for whatever reason. He's got the magic formula.
Yeah.
People trust him and will go see it, even though, as you said, this is a territory we've seen over and over again in multiple movies. We just haven't seen it through Cameron's eyes, and he just has a gift, man.
I mean, listen, the dude named his rare metal unobtainium. Like he does. Like there's certain things that you're like, all right, I can't forgive you on this one, James. But yeah. I mean, in my lifetime as an avid moviegoer who obsesses over things and becomes a geek, like James Cameron is one of the few directors that I don't think has ever let me down.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I mean, now his filmography is much smaller because he takes so long to make his movies. But like, I mean, but when you go from Terminator, Aliens, Terminator 2, True Lies, The Abyss, Titanic, I was like, what am I missing? Oh, Titanic, you know, that little movie that indie film, you know, Avatar Way of Water. Like I could watch any of those right now and be like, yeah, I'm fucking in.
Even his documentaries. So yeah. He's a master filmmaker for sure. All right, let's hit these two other trailers here, Micah. Animated trailers. Here's Zootopia 2. We got more of the story in this one. We're seeing the two having counseling there, and with Quinta Brunson very well doing a good job with the voiceover there and having to figure out how to work together. But they are also their case, like their partnership is being threatened if they don't solve this one case. And Ke Huy Quan is in here as the snake who is trying to find his family or save his family, but looks like to be the antagonist of the movie. That's what we got here. So we got more of the story, more of the characters being a part of this thing. What do you think of the trailer?
I love this trailer. The first trailer that we got, which was more of a tease, didn't really have a lot of story. It was just all style. Yeah. And that trailer was bonkers. Like I loved that trailer just because it was all style, little substance, but the style that we got was kind of overwhelming. Yeah. This trailer gives us a little bit more of the meat. And like the problem with any sequel is when you write your first movie, your characters are designed to work for that story. Yeah. So they were like, okay, we're going to do a story about, predators and prey. And we're going to put these two together. And one of them is a con man and one of them is a cop. And they're going to have to learn to work together. And the entire story is about this. But you get to the end of the movie and these two are besties. Yeah. And what I really loved about this opening sequence with the partners counseling was you got all that great Zootopia humor. Like you got a partners, but you have the elephant and the mouse. You have like someone going savage on something. Like you just have all the funny jokes. But you also have Quinta Brunson's character break down these two and be like, this is why you don't get together. And like we get contextually that it's only been a week since the first movie. Right. So it's been a week and they already are falling apart as partners. Yeah. And so automatically you're like, okay, I get what the central conflict of this is. And then I also get what the case is. That Ke Huy Quan is this snake and that snakes haven't been in Zootopia in a really long time. And he's on the run because he's a criminal, but based on what we've seen and what we've heard, maybe he has a good reason for doing what he's doing. Yeah. And when you have a criminal who might have a good reason for what he's doing, and you have your duo as a by the book bunny cop and a new cop who used to be on the wrong side of the tracks and might have more sympathy for a criminal, you sort of see where the movie's going to go. Yeah. And in addition to that, like Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman, like it just like, it feels like seeing old friends with them voicing these roles. Like Zootopia is a great movie. Yeah. And I can't wait to return to the world. And just in seeing like the new environments that we're going to see, like this water town and all that stuff, it's like all the stuff they gave us in the first movie, we're getting more of what we liked, but in new and interesting ways.
If you want to feel old, this one came out 9 years ago, the first one. If you want to feel
the entire modern Disney era confuses me because in my mind, Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, Zootopia were all like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
None of them were 5 years ago.
And that one made $1.025 billion off $150 million budget. So you hope the same success happens here with bringing everybody back. And I agree with you. I thought the trailer was fantastic. It's wonderful. I can't wait to see it. I loved this because of the chemistry between Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman worked so well. Idris Elba being a part of that police department as well looks so well. And having Ki Kwan come in as Gary DeSnake, that's such a great name. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Another trailer we got this week is Goat. What do you think of this one, Mike? Quite an interesting trailer here, Goat. This comes to us from Steph Curry, of all people, and it's from the studio that brought us Across the Spider-Verse, and it is exclusive in theaters in February of 2026. This is more of a teaser trailer, seeing a sports bent to this all, and in them even playing the great Skilo song, I Wish I Was a Baller. So an interesting take. This is one that appealed to me, and I'm sure you're not surprised that it did. What do you think of this trailer?
Oh, thank God. Everybody in the comments, give John a round of applause. An animated project appealed to him. What a concept. I think dropping this trailer the same day that Disney dropped Zootopia 2 is a mood. Like furries had a great week this week.
Yeah.
Like furries were feeling good about themselves. But what's great is about this trailer to me is when you have Zootopia 2 coming and you have a movie about anthropomorphic animals living in this universe and the story that you're telling, you have another movie come out about anthropomorphic animals living in this kind of world where they all live in a society, and it doesn't feel at all like Zootopia.
Yeah.
Like the style is different, the feel of the world is different, everything is different. And again, like Sony Animation, Spider-Verse, Meet the Mitchells, K-pop Demon Hunters, Goat. Like Sony is really just moving up. Like Disney has their Disney style, which I'm a big fan of. Pixar has their Pixar style, which I'm a fan of. DreamWorks experiments, does some different styles, has some solid things, but Sony's coming up with this very sort of edgy, interesting kind of different vibe with their animated movies, and they're all looking pretty cool. And just from what I can glean of the story, it seems like this is a world where in this Roarball game that they're all playing, it tends to be more predators or aggressive animals.
Yeah.
And so the idea of a goat, which is a not aggressive animal, being a baller seems like that's a rare thing. And so you sort of see in the trailer, like all of the lions and the giant, big kind of scary monster animals are kind of laughing at him, but it seems like he becomes a hero to the smaller animals. And I think as a fan of sports movies, who is not really a sports guy in real life, that seems like a recipe for a hit sports movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's got almost 14 million views, which is pretty good for a teaser trailer for animation on YouTube. And I'll say this, I liked it a lot. And it has, it's a little bit meta because it is produced by Steph Curry a lot. And for those of you who know the NBA, Steph Curry was a smaller guy. A lot of people thought he wasn't going to be able to make it in the NBA. He had injury issues, ankle issues in the first few years of his time in the NBA. And eventually, as he was banging with these larger players like LeBron and other players, he found a way to stand out and lead his team to multiple titles and is considered one of the GOATs of the game. So I'm not surprised that this is something that appealed to him and that he was involved in this. And certainly there's going to be life lessons that are going to be shared here, which he loves to do as well. And I like that he has taken on the mantle that Kobe Bryant, sadly, when he passed away, was unable to finish out, which is to kind of use your status as a sports guy to kind of give back through this kinds of entertainment to inspire kids and people who are in situations where they maybe are told they can't be this or can't succeed at doing this, to find the belief or see the story that they can. So I like that. I like the energy. I like the animation here. And it was fun. Plus, they probably saved a lot of money. They didn't go for high-end voiceover actors in terms of names. They didn't do stunt casting. There's some known names, but there's some unknown names as a part of this cast as well. And I think this is a good mix. And I liked this trailer a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing the movie myself.
Yeah. Listen, man.
Yeah.
Zootopia 2, GOAT, K-pop Demon Hunters, let's all animation, baby. Let's go.
It's time to bring that all back for sure. All right, Mike, as if we haven't talked about enough stuff to have a discussion, but let's get into this big discussion that happened here. Well, we'll see how long we go on this, but certainly there was there's already been some battles online here over this list. Variety published their top 54. Well, actually, not top. They posted
they ranked.
Yeah, they ranked the 54 Marvel film and TV shows that have come out here, and this is the full list for their ranking, and it has caused some arguments, some battles, even amongst our own text threads, some decisions about this. You've got Avengers Endgame at number 1. You've got Secret Invasion all the way at the bottom. I think that at least the last one, I think, is probably the most universally accepted ranking of all of this. But there were some curious rankings when you look at this. Is WandaVision, should it be this high? Should Black Panther be this high? X-Men 97 getting into the top 10 is really interesting. Why is Infinity War at 12? Shang-Chi below Deadpool and Wolverine. You can battle them, and before Agatha all along. Some people have issues with that. Near the end, though, I mean, like as I said, Quantumania, Dark World, Secret Invasion, Moon Knight, Thor, Love and Thunder, those are pretty much accepted as some of the not great fare. But people putting Werewolf by Night, saying how is She-Hulk above Werewolf by Night? So what are your thoughts on these rankings, Mike? What is your feeling when you look at this?
I mean, art is a subjective medium, so doing any ranking ever is going to cause a bunch of people to have feelings.
Fair point.
I think what I said when you sent this out today was I agree with 80% of this list.
Yeah.
Which compared, like I know a few weeks ago there was that list. Was it Variety? Who did the top 50 superhero movies?
Esquire. I think it was Esquire who did that.
Esquire's list was stupid.
Yes, I agree.
Like everybody in the world looked at Esquire's list of the top superhero movies and the rankings of it. And everybody in the world, the only thing comic book fans could agree on was that was a stupid list. Like that was all over the place. This is a list you go, all right, Endgame is number 1.
Right.
Secret Invasion is number 54. That's correct.
Yeah.
Like we all agree with that. And then you get into the nitty gritty of it. Like, look, X-Men 97, Black Panther and WandaVision are all in my top 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Top 10. Yes. Maybe not as high as they had it, but yes, agree. Top 10. I won't disagree with that.
I mean, look, and also I do look, I personally do have Avengers Endgame and Infinity War as number 1 and 2 on my personal list. Like I have a personal list, so I'm looking at it right here as we're discussing it. But like I have Endgame and Infinity War as number 1 and number 2 on my list because I think that they're a package deal. Like I personally like Endgame more than Infinity War. Everybody can argue that out, but I think that you don't get Endgame without having Infinity War. So I think they're a 1-2 deal. I got so where are they at? What do we have here?
Can you see it from?
I can't read that. You just read it to me. What's the top 5?
Let me make it bigger. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, I think that works on the eye chart. Yeah, they've got Endgame, then Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy, WandaVision, Winter Soldier, X-Men 97, Spider-Man, No Way Home, Iron Man, Thor, Ragnarok, and Loki. That's the top 10.
I mean, look, I think for me, let's see here. Yeah, Guardians is number 6. Like my top 10 is Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, No Way Home, Winter Soldier, Black Panther, WandaVision, Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men 97. And then the first Avengers movie, which I know you and I don't agree on because you think it didn't age well. No, but I still think it's a pretty impressive feat for when it came out.
Fair point.
So yeah, I think that, like that generally washes with what I have. It's tough. Also, I think it's tough with Marvel because, man, 54 projects since Iron Man came out.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And tonally, they're all over the place. Like, I know that some people put Hawkeye above WandaVision. That really did it for them. Like, so that really worked. That vibe worked. Some people love the team ups. Deadpool and Wolverine all on its own is debatable because some people think the Deadpool movies are so good and it's great and it's amazing. And some people think that Deadpool and Wolverine kind of got a little tired and was more about the jokes than the story. So, you can go all over. But I think that the things that jump out that are constant are, like you said, the top 10, you can rearrange them. But most people agree that most of those movies deserve to be in the top. Like if Marvel could keep hitting those heights, we'd be happy. And when you look at the bottom 10, most people are in broad agreement and say, when Marvel does this, we're not so happy.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, and then I think what's interesting are the what were you gonna say?
Are you upset about your Eternals being in the bottom 10 here? I mean, you defend that movie.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to bring up. What I also find interesting are the Marvel projects that tend to be the most wild cards on people's lists.
Yeah.
Eternals is a wild card.
Yes.
Some people will put it really high. Where is Eternals for me? 18? I mean, you say high. It's at 26 for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, you speak highly of it is what I'm implied.
But yeah, but like, so like it's definitely higher than 46.
Yes.
So like I put Eternals higher. A lot of people put it lower. There are a ton of people that will put Multiverse of Madness much higher on their Marvel lists than I will. Multiverse of Madness is close to the bottom for me.
Right.
So I think, it's interesting because I think if bigger picture, lists are lists. Like it's stupid. Yeah. It's a silly thing and we all debate it, but like, look, all Marvel really cares and all Disney really cares about is rearrange these by box office. That's what really matters. They don't care what you, me, or Jimmy in Utah thinks about which is their favorite. They're like, show me the box office. But what I do think is interesting when you see what people are arguing about and you see different people's lists is there are, as we were saying, there's certain things that are subjective and everyone's going to debate it. And then there's certain things that these movies always are on people's tops and always on people's bottoms and going, okay, well, how do we emulate those top movies more?
That's the ones you're right. That's the ones they always bring up with why can't it be as good as this? Why can't they hit these heights? And you could also argue, Mike, that they have these 10 are the reasons why people, as you were just saying, get frustrated with some of the most recent Marvel output because it doesn't match these highs from the past.
Well, and that brings up where on their list, I forget, I looked at it earlier, but I can't remember. Where is Fantastic Four?
It is below the Marvels, which makes no effing sense. It's 37. The Marvels are 33.
Okay, well, I will say that the Marvels on rewatch is more enjoyable than it was in theater, but I don't think that it goes higher than Fantastic Four.
Thank you.
I
didn't even put it higher than Black Widow. I think Black Widow's a better movie than the Marvels. Werewolf by Night is an excellent special, Michael. That should be up in the 30s. That's not.
It is. I'm trying to think where I put Fantastic Four. I think where I would have put it when we got out of the theater on Friday and where I would put it now has changed.
Yeah.
I think Fantastic Four for me is in the teens, maybe.
In the teens. Wow.
Yeah.
Up there in the teens. Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe a little bit lower. Maybe like late or like upper teens, early 20s.
Yeah. So I think Infinity War should be in the top 10. It drives my mind how people try to separate those two films. You can't. They both belong in the top 10, no matter what you say. They are equally excellent films, and so I think it's frustrating to see that. Shang-Chi being in the teens, I like, although I think it's better than Agatha All Along. I do think it's better than Deadpool and Wolverine overall as a film and a story and the cohesive nature of the film itself. I like that better. To me, the holiday special being this far above Werewolf by Night is madness. But I am happy that your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man made it into the top 26. That is an unappreciated animation show that was so much fun to watch, for God's sakes. But Doctor Strange being below Multiverse of Madness, kiss my ever-loving ass. That should be down there in the bottom 10, in my opinion. But anyway.
Multiverse? Yeah, of course. The thing I'll say about Shang-Chi, and this does get into our conversation about Avatar, but when you look at Shang-Chi and you look at Deadpool and Wolverine, like there's two ways to look at it. I think Shang-Chi is a much more cohesive story than Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes.
Like, no doubt. Like, Shang-Chi is a much stronger movie as far as like the narrative, the character story, the arcs, 100%. Deadpool and Wolverine has peaks that are higher than what I think Shang-Chi has. Like, I think that like when you look at a movie as an experience, like we were talking about with Avatar, like going to see Deadpool and Wolverine was like an experience because Ryan Reynolds understands that character in a way that when you're watching it, there are things. Now, also, it took about 10 minutes of Deadpool and Wolverine for me to go, well, I don't know what the fuck this story is. Like, this makes no sense. Like, I don't really think I'm here for the story. Like, let's just see where this goes. But, you know, Ryan Reynolds going to a bunch of different realities and seeing tiny Wolverine and Weapon X Wolverine and this Wolverine and then the Henry Cavill Wolverine, like as a movie experience, it has more going for it. So if you're going for story and you're going for this is a cohesive movie, there's certain things that'll go up on the list, and experiential is different. Like Guardians 2 is one where I was talking about this at Comic-Con. Like I think Guardians of the Galaxy out of those 3 movies is the best structured of the Guardians movies.
100%.
It's the one that James Gunn didn't actually write. But Guardians Volume 2 and 3, while structurally a little bit messy and all over the place, when those emotional beats hit, they hit really hard. Like Guardians 2, I don't think is the strongest movie as far as like the script and the structure of it. But boy, you get to the end and Yondu says, he might be your father, but I'm your daddy. And I'm like a puddle on the floor. So that's also something that goes into where these movies fall. Like there's the part of your brain that goes, this is a well-made movie. And then there's the part of your brain that goes, this movie got me. This really hit me in the gut.
Well, and it's frustrating when you look at it because it just, and you know, I'm going to be a little cynical. That some of this feels like pandering. Like James Gunn has a movie out now, so let's make sure we put Volume 2 and the first Guardian like high up on the list, you know, because we want to curry favor with James Gunn. Putting the Marvels here at 33 is madness to me, and I think it's trying to cater to the female audience or female fans. Black Panther number 2. I love Black Panther, but you can't argue that third act gets a little wonky on it. And Black Panther's not even the star of the Black Panther movie, which makes it a little, to me, pushes it down a little bit. I think it's top 10, 100%, but I don't think it's number
Black
2.
Panther?
Yeah, I don't think it's top. I think it's top 10. It's not number 2 for me. That's what I'm saying. I think there's issues.
I will say that, Black Panther for a long time was like number 3 on my list.
Oh, wow.
Like I think Black Panther, and even as it stands now, Black Panther's number 5. Like I think Black Panther is about as good as Marvel can get.
I'm cool with 5. I'd have been okay with 5. I agree with you on 5. I probably have Endgame, Infinity War, Winter Soldier, and probably X-Men 97, and then Black Panther. Like I'm cool, and then No Way Home probably after that.
But I do agree with look. I think the only reason the only reason Winter Soldier goes above Black Panther for me, is the third act of Black Panther.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. Yeah, the third.
Like the Battle of Wakanda is a little sparse, and then the battle between him and Killmonger does turn into a little bit of like just CG punch fest.
Yeah,
but everything else about that movie is damn near perfect. And I just think Winter Soldier at the end of the day really kind of just sticks its landing harder.
Yeah. And then I just look at these things that and I think Fantastic Four is probably a recency bias, so they had to keep it a little bit lower. That's probably going to go up by the time like this list is done again. I am sad to see What If down there below Age of Ultron. And I think it's that third season, right?
It's the third season.
Yeah, it's just a shame.
It's the third season of What If dragged that thing into the mud. What If season 1 I thought was spectacular. What If season 2 I thought was very strong. What If season 3 I wanted to claw my eyeballs out. It made me so angry.
Yeah, I think if you do this list again, I think you have to say the seasons. If you're going to do animation, you have to say the seasons.
It's the challenge of, and look, I think as Marvel continues with their new TV strategy, maybe it'll be different, but it's the challenge of putting movies and TV shows together. A movie is being judged on 120 plus minutes.
Right.
And a TV show has multiple hours, but most of Marvel's TV shows, at least for the first kind of section of what they were doing, were just extended movies, which was cool in some ways and caused them some really big issues, especially in the latter part of their seasons. What If and Loki were the only 2 that had multiple seasons. We're going to get an X-Men 97 season 2. We're going to get Daredevil Born Again season 2. So once we have some more Marvel shows that have multiple seasons, I think it'll be easier to sort of map it out. I mean, look, there's a lot of people that are concerned about X-Men 97. X-Men 97 as the animated show that for almost everybody is the #1 Marvel animated thing on their list.
100%.
There's a lot of concern about what X-Men 97 season 2 is going to be without Bo DeMeo doing it. So like, that's going to be really interesting to see.
Well, that's why I think it should be ranked separately by seasons, because there's nothing that season 2, if they made all the changes that Bo claims they made on social media, that it will have nothing to do with what he had done with his first season. So to have the whole thing be dragged down by someone else coming in with their maybe safer, softer point of view on some of these things that Bo was tackling, I think that's unfair to season 1 of X-Men 97. That should be a separate, all these seasons should be separate rankings. Maybe even within, if there's ever, maybe even within, like Loki season 1 should be ranked differently than Loki season 2. Even within those shows, they should be ranked differently. So I get, though, you can't be going like 100. You would lose the intention.
Yeah, it would be a big list. So let me final question.
All right.
What, I think I know the answer, but what on this list makes you the most upset?
Ooh. The most upset? Ooh, that's a great question. You know what? To beat a dead horse, Multiverse of Madness being 25th probably infuriates me the most because this was a perfect opportunity to properly rank this movie, even though it made almost $1 billion. It is a mess of a fucking movie. And if you're going to move the Marvels up to 33 over some possible feminist point of view, then I'll be damned that you need to put Multiverse of Madness at 25th, which does nothing to help the female character and destroys her throughout the whole movie by repeating the same fucking arc we saw in the TV show. So for me, that is where I would put, I think that's the one that offends me the most. The other ones I can kind of accept and get, where even if I feel like it's pandering, I can accept it and understand it and why. But like that being 25th is nuts.
Okay, here's mine. Okay,
go ahead.
I don't really get upset about lists. But
go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
But look, I am fine if you put Eternals lower than I put Eternals. I get. Wait, no. Here's what it is.
Okay.
It's not that Eternals is low. That's fine.
Okay.
You put Eternals low, I put Eternals higher. It's a weird movie. Everyone reacts differently. John can attest to the fact that we both saw it at the premiere, and I was clearly engaged, and he was clearly not, and we could both tell that we were not going to have the same experience.
Wow.
That's fine. You can't put Captain America Brave New World one slot above Eternals. Eternals might be horrible to you. You might not like it at all. But there is no world where Captain America Brave New World is a little bit better than Eternals. Like, come on. Get out of here. Captain America Brave New World is, hold on, let me see here. Where did I put it? Oh, did I not put it on here? Well, it's near I think it's like Iron Man 2, Incredible. Like, it's in the bottom 5 for me.
Wow. Okay.
I tried to watch Captain America Brave New World again. Now that it's on streaming, I was like, okay. Because I've done that. Like,
yeah, sure.
I've rewatched Quantum Mania, Multiverse of Madness. And I agree with John that Multiverse of Madness is a mess. It's still not my favorite. But I will say that when you watch Multiverse of Madness or Quantum Mania or even Love and Thunder on your couch, you just have it on TV. The stuff that you like about it rises to the top, and you can kind of ignore the stuff you don't like, and you can kind of enjoy it. I tried to watch Captain America Brave New World, and I got to Giancarlo Esposito showing up to shoot at the car in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it anymore.
It's not even comfort food. It's not even comfort food. Some of these Marvel films that aren't that great or series that aren't that great, they're at least comfort food.
The Marvels is comfort food for me. I can watch the Marvels. I really like Miss Marvel. I can enjoy it. I will not argue with anybody that talks about how bad it is because it's not great, but it's comfort food.
Right.
Brave New World. Get out of here.
All right, let me ask you a final question because I know we got to wrap up. Is there anything in the bottom 10, let's say 44 to 54, that you, other than Eternals, because you already spoke
Eternals.
Right. That you would elevate out of the bottom 10 and move a little bit higher? And we're talking Falcon and Winter Soldier, Brave New World, Eternals you already said, so let's leave that one out. Echo, Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, Thor, Love and Thunder, Moon Knight, Quantumania, Thor, Dark World, and Secret Invasion. Any of these would you move out to put a little bit higher on the list?
I'm trying to compare. I don't think so. The only thing, and I'm just because it's close, the only thing that I would really contest for my personal list is, for me, upon rewatching, Age of Ultron goes a lot higher than 42.
Okay, so you would so not in the bottom 10, but still you'd
Bottom
move
10, no, but like looking at like the next 10 after that,
yeah.
like look, I think Age of Ultron is a bloated movie.
Yes.
I think that entire chase scene in China is like, all right, guys, we do not need this. Like, wrap it up. Let's move on. Like, that's not great. And the entire subplot of Thor going and having his mushroom trip so that he can figure out Ragnarok, and it's a Ragnarok that we never even get because Taika Waititi came in. Like, I could do less of all of that.
Right.
But the introduction of Wanda and Pietro, particularly knowing what happens with Wanda down the road, is great. I still think James Spader's Ultron is top tier Marvel villain. And I think there's more good about the movie than bad. So that one I would put higher.
Okay. All right. There you go. I don't know that I would move any of them out either to higher up on the list. I think, you know what? No, I would. You know what? I think Quantumania gets a bad rap. I liked Quantumania. I would move it out of the top 10. I would move probably She-Hulk down there.
How dare you?
Or maybe even Iron Man 3, to be honest with you, which has been a harder rewatch every time I've watched. Like I defended
I'll give you that trade. I'll give you that trade. I would move Quantumania up and Iron Man 3 down.
Yeah. I think
again, Quantumania is a mess of CG soup of a movie.
I love the batshit craziness of that movie.
But it is crazy enough that you put it on and you're like, all right, I can do this. I can enjoy this for a minute. Yeah. Iron Man 3, there's things that I like about it, but the things that I dislike about it, it's just kind of like okay.
Yeah. It's like, it'll do. Sorry about that. So, like, Supergirl wanted some attention. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So yeah, I'm glad you agree with me on that.
It's like the ghost of James Gunn is in your house right now.
Not again.
Like, you guys been talking about Marvel for 20 minutes. Supergirl coming next July. Bah.
Don't forget about me. Talk about me, bitch. All right. Anyway, let's get on out of here. Thank you all so much for joining us on this episode of the Geek Buddies. We appreciate it madly. Michael, what do we have to tell them?
If you would like to follow us, you can do so on Twitter at geek_buddies, on Instagram at _geek_buddies. If you would like to follow Mr. Rocha, you can do so at The Rocha Says. If you would like to follow me, you can do so at MKToon. While you do all that following, we would also appreciate it if you smash that like button below, subscribe to Johnny's John Rocha page right here on YouTube, and check out all the amazing content he's got. Leave your comments below. What do you think of everything in Rocha's Roundup? Are you excited for K-pop Demon Hunters if you haven't watched it yet? Are you excited for more K-pop Demon Hunters if you have? Are you excited for GOAT, Fire and Ash, Zootopia 2? And what do you think of this Marvel list? Let us know in the comments below. If you're listening to us on a podcast, go ahead and leave us some stars and comments so we go up in the rankings. And as always, the best thing you can do is retweet this video, post it on your socials, send it to your friends, and tell them to hang out with your buddies, the Geek Buddies.
There you go. And as Michael said, let us know your top 10. If you dare to let us know your top 10 down in the comment section of of these 54 titles they've selected, let us know your top 10. We'd love to hear what you all think.
And if Multiverse of Madness is in your top 10, get ready, because we might comment on that one.
Yeah, we might comment on that. Thank you all so much for joining us. Shout out to our buddy Shannon McClung, who's enjoying himself in New Orleans. We'll be back next week, and we'll talk. Have a great weekend. Go see a movie or enjoy a TV show, and we'll talk to you next week with another brand new episode here of the
Geek
Buddies.